Hey, everybody, this is Darren Sabedra again, Bay Area News Group, Mercury News East Bay Times, here with Joseph Dycus, also Mercury News East Bay Times, and Mike Lefkow, our high school football expert. We're heading into week 4 of the high school football season, and it's been a terrific start, going by really fast, as I told Joseph when he arrived from Tennessee. Once we get rolling, it doesn't stop. Joseph, can you believe we're already in week 4?
No, I feel like 2 days ago we were writing previews about the OAL and the BVAL, and now we're about into league play for most of these teams. It's crazy.
No, it really is. Most of the West Catholic Athletic League, including our top-ranked team, the Serra Padres, will be off this week here in week 4 as they get ready for their league openers next weekend, on the weekend of the 23rd and 24th. Joseph, you got a chance to see Serra. I've already seen Serra twice. You saw them trailing. They don't seem to get phased when they trail. They were down 14-0 to De La Salle in the fourth quarter and 9-0 in the game you covered.
Yep.
And then what'd you see?
I mean, they went down 9-0, and then it's just like they got that first touchdown, and the switch just flipped, and it felt like every time they had the ball, they were going to score.
Right.
And for a while there, that was exactly that. Like, Central Catholic and Modesto, they would hold the ball, they would run the ball, try to keep it out of Serra's hands, and then Serra would get the ball, and in a minute and a half, they'd go down the field and score a touchdown.
Yeah, they're very, very impressive. A lot of talent on Patrick Walsh's roster, and they've shown it by winning at Folsom and De La Salle and then beating Central Catholic-Modesto as they get ready for their league opener against St. Francis, team that lost to De La Salle last week 35-3. Mike, you were almost spot on your pick last week. You kind of raised some eyebrows, at least here on our show, when you said you could see De La Salle winning by a running clock. It would have been a running clock if St. Francis had not gotten a nice kick return in the first half and a short field goal for its 3 points. What was your takeaway from De La Salle's 35-3 win over St. Francis?
I think De La Salle, as usual, has a pretty good football team, and I think St. Francis a little bit down this year. They're talented, don't get me wrong, but every program is going to go through a year now and then where they just need to rebuild a little bit, and I think St. Francis is probably in that situation, and De La Salle is out for blood after losing to St. Francis last year.
Right, and you said that De La Salle still has some of that mystique about them. I happened to write last week that St. Francis loss crushed the mystique, given that the Spartans have lost to 3 NorCal teams in less than a calendar year. You don't think that mystique has been crushed?
No, I don't think it's been crushed. And I think we gave both schools bulletin board material last week. You with your mystique comments, and me with the running clock. But no, I don't think De La Salle's mystique has been crushed. I think it's not what it once was, because other schools have started to catch up to them, and maybe even surpassed them. Maybe Serra surpassed them, but no, I don't think De La Salle's mystique has been crushed, and I think they probably wanted to prove it last week.
Well, they have another game that they've had circled on the calendar. I mean, I don't know who's going to have the motivational edge in this game coming up, where De La Salle travels to San Diego to play Cathedral-San Diego on Friday night. And we'll talk more about it when we get to the picks. But De La Salle, if it had beaten Folsom in the regional last year, would have played Cathedral for the state championship, and that, I think it was Division I AA. Folsom ended up playing Cathedral and losing. But Cathedral, earlier in the season, back in September of last year, went to Concord and lost by 4 touchdowns to De La Salle. So Cathedral's going to want to get something back. De La Salle's going to want to get something back. That'll be an interesting matchup that we'll be following on Friday. What do you think, Lefty?
Yeah, I think it will be an interesting matchup. I think it'll be a little bit closer than it was last year.
Yeah.
But, I was doing a little bit of research on Cathedral. I don't know much about them. I don't know how strong the football is in the San Diego section. But, yeah, I think it'll be a good game. I think it'll be a close game.
Yeah. Joseph, what do you think?
Yeah, I think that I do think that's going to be a little closer than we said 4 touchdowns that was last year. I mean, they're
Yeah, that
going
was
to San
49-21.
Diego. They are going to San Diego, so I mean, I'm not going to spoil my pick here, but I'm going to pick De La Salle to win, but I don't think they're going to blow out their opponent by any means.
Okay. Before we get to the picks, let's talk a little bit about the Pittsburgh Pirates, who will be at home. And Joseph, you're going to be at this game. More preview later in the week. I'm going to talk to Vic Galley here later on to discuss the Folsom matchup. It's a rematch of a game played last year that Folsom won. A lot of talent is going to be on that field, including Rico Flores Jr., the Notre Dame bound wide receiver at Folsom. But obviously, Pittsburgh has a lot of talent on its side. Yeah. Jaden Rashada, Rasheed Williams, and et cetera, et cetera. What are you most looking forward to in this matchup?
You know, I'm really looking forward to seeing if Rasheed Williams, if Kai Taylor, those wide receivers for Pitt, how they match up with the athletes that Folsom has. Because the last time I watched Pittsburgh, no offense to Bethel, but that was not a fair matchup for Bethel. And I want to see how Pittsburgh plays against a team of Folsom's caliber. Now, with that said, they went to San Diego and beat Liberty of Nevada, probably the second best team in the state. So they've proven already this year they can win against quality competition.
Right. I mean, that was a big win also last week against California. And a tip of the cap to Folsom, which has played Serra, and they're going to play Pittsburgh. And next week they're going to come back to the Bay Area to play De La Salle.
Yeah, I feel like Folsom has just played. They're like, let's just play every good team in the Bay Area.
Right. It's pretty amazing. Before we get to the picks, let's talk about 2 other things. Joseph, you're going to be you're working on a referee story without giving it away, and we're not sure when it's going to run, probably in the next week or so. But tell us just a little bit. Give us a snapshot of what you're working on.
Well, here in the Bay Area and really across America, there has been a shortage of referees for the last few years. And, I think everyone has heard about it. Maybe a lot of people have written about it. The fact that we are having to have Thursday games, Friday games, and Saturday games for varsity to make up for the referee shortage. I've had conversations with refs, with officials, coaches, and I found a different angle to the referee story, and there's maybe a cause for some optimism that people don't really know about or aren't talking about. And so I'm really excited to do some more digging and get that story out there, because it's something that a lot of people haven't heard of.
We can't wait to see that story. It will be on the Mercury News website as well as the East Bay Times website, and we'll definitely promote it when that story is done. Real quickly, before we get to the picks, you're also going to have girls volleyball rankings. We haven't done those in a while, and you're going to have the season debut of the Bay Area News Group top 15 girls volleyball rankings in Wednesday's Mercury News and East Bay Times.com websites. What can you tell us about girls volleyball at this point?
Well, I mean, we have in the top, I don't have it up here with me, but in the top 50 volleyball teams in the state, NorCal teams are very well represented, and as they are pretty much every year.
Right.
Doing the girls athlete of the week, it seems like every team's got 2 or 3 great players. And I was like, you know what, let's do volleyball rankings. People love the football ranking. Let's do volleyball.
There you go. They do love the football rankings, and I'm really looking forward to seeing the volleyball rankings, because I think there is interest in girls volleyball, and I can't wait to see those rankings, and hopefully there is an audience for it so we can continue to do it. Yes. I have nothing else to add. Let's get to the picks, unless you guys have anything else you want to discuss.
No, let's pick them.
All right. We're going to do 16 games this week because we only had 14 last week with Menlo School and Amador Valley getting postponed because of the heat last week. So that game will now be played on September 30th. We are going to go 16, starting with El Cerrito at 3-0, traveling to Foothill 2-1. El Cerrito at 3-0 on the year, and Foothill coming off its first loss. That was to Vanden. It was a very respectable 23-14 score. I saw El Cerrito at the scrimmage at Pittsburgh with De La Salle and Jesuit. I really like that defense. I'm taking El Cerrito. Joseph, who you got?
Yeah, I've got El Cerrito too.
Lefty?
I'm going to take Foothill in the upset. It's in Pleasanton, so I'm going to go with the home team.
Wow. Okay. And given that you lead the standings, they got to be feeling pretty good there in Pleasanton that you picked them.
Yeah, they might not be after Friday night.
You're in first place. Game 2 on the list, Vintage at 1-2, traveling to Heritage 3-0. Devin Rivers is having a heck of a start to the season for Heritage. I mean, he's over 700 yards rushing. He's the Fresno State-bound running back who's going to follow in the footsteps of his brother, Ron Rivers, and his dad, or his brother Ronnie and his dad Ron. Right? Is that right?
Yeah.
Did I get that right?
Yeah.
All Fresno State legends. I'm going Heritage, the home team. Joseph?
Yeah, I'm going with Heritage too.
Lefty?
Yeah, I'm going to take Heritage.
All right. Game 3 on the list, San Ramon Valley at 2-0, traveling to Los Lomas 1-2. Los Lomas had a big win last week against Lee. I think they won by about 5 touchdowns. San Ramon Valley's quarterback, Luke Baker, threw for 426 and 4 touchdowns last week against Elk Grove. These teams played last year. They played twice in 2021. In September of 2021, San Ramon Valley won 29-24. And in March of 2021, San Ramon Valley won 35-28. And they're 5-1 against Los Lomas in the Max Preps era. I am taking San Ramon Valley. Lefty,
Same.
or Joseph, you're going same? Sorry about that.
Yeah, I'm going to go with the SRV as well.
All right, all 3 SRV. Game 4 on the list, Santa Teresa at 1-2, coming off a big loss to Midi. I think it was 31-0. Going up against Leland at 1-2. Leland coming off a loss to Wilcox. This is a Mount Hamilton Division opener in the Blossom Valley Athletic League. Santa Teresa won last year 14-7. Joseph, who you taking?
I'm taking Santa Teresa, and interesting stat is that according to Max Preps, neither one of these teams has thrown for 200 combined yards. So someone who goes to that game, it might be a pretty short game because there's going to be a lot of running involved.
A lot of running. Lefty, who you got?
I'm going with Leland. I think Leland's just a better team than Santa Teresa this year.
And I'm taking Leland as well. So game 5 on the list, Granada at Amador Valley. As we noted, Amador Valley had last week off after its game was postponed against Menlo School. Their one loss was to El Cerrito, and that was a 7-3 defensive slugfest. Granada got its first win last week, beating Castro Valley. I'm taking the home team, Amador Valley. Joseph?
Same, Amador Valley.
Lefty?
Yep, I'm going to go with the Dons, Amador Valley.
All right. Game 6 on the list, Campo Lindo 3-0. Campo has been winning in the late stages of its games, at least the last 2 weeks, beating Windsor and Aptos. They will be on the road at Burrell Field playing San Leandro, which lost to Bellarmine last week and is 1-2. These teams played last year, and Campo won by a touchdown. I think Campo wins, and I think it probably will be by more than 1 touchdown this week. Joseph, who you got?
I've got Campo too.
Lefty?
I'm also picking Campo, but I'm not sure it'll be by more than 1 touchdown.
Oh, you think it's going to be close?
I think it's going to be a close game. I think San Leandro is a little down this year, but they're well coached, and of course both teams are well coached. So I think this game is going to be a little bit closer than 3 or 4 touchdowns.
Game 7 on the list, we got Lee at 0-3. This is a rivalry game. They will be going to Branham at 3-0. Lee is 13-4 against Branham in the Max Preps era and won the game between the teams last year 28-0. Lee, as we noted earlier, is coming off the big loss to Las Lomas. Branham had a huge win over Cupertino. Its quarterback, William Augustine, did it with his arm, did it with his feet, did it with everything against Gunderson. But even though Branham's at home, I'm taking Lee to get its season turned around, and I'm taking Lee to win this game. Joseph, who you got?
I'm going to take Branham, but I think Lee is a better team than his record shows. I mean, 2 of their losses are by 1 score. One of them came with 2 seconds to go in the game. But Branham's at home. They're coming off a big win. I think they win.
And those games have been against Lincoln, San Jose, and Pioneer, both quality opponents. Lefty.
I'm going Branham. Lee lost to Las Lomas last week, 32-3?
No, I think it was 42-7 or something like that. It was
still a one-sided game, and Las Lomas doesn't have its starting quarterback back yet. So I don't know. I don't see Lee beating Branham.
I think Las Lomas plays at a high level. I mean, they're playing San Ramon Valley this week, and they played competitively against San Ramon Valley the last couple of years. I just think Las Lomas is at a higher level.
Oh no, I agree that Las Lomas is at a higher level, but I think if you're a Lee, you got to make it a little bit closer than you did, and I just think Branham's going to beat them.
Okay. Game 8 on the list. Fremont of Oakland at home, 1-1 against Encinal. Is anyone going to score in this game?
Maybe they can have another 9-0 game like
Northgate beat Fremont 9-0. Encinal scored 14 points in 3 games. I'm taking Fremont of Oakland. Joseph, who you got?
Yeah, I'm taking Fremont of Oakland. It's going to be low scoring.
6-3, 3-0,
7-3. I think someone gets a touchdown.
Lefty, who you got?
I'll take Fremont, but I think it's probably going to be like 21-3, something like 21-7, maybe.
All right. Now we're getting to the tough ones. Menlo School of Freedom. Menlo School going out to Oakley. Menlo School at 2-0. Freedom at 0-2. Both teams had their games either postponed or canceled last week. Freedom was supposed to go out to the Sacramento area, and I believe the game was called because of air quality or smoke or something happened out there. So no game for Freedom. Menlo School could not play its game against Amador Valley, but we'll have that game made up on September the 30th. That was a tough one for me to pick because it's always tough going out to Oakley to play, but I'm going to take Menlo School to go to 3-0. Taking Menlo. Joseph?
Yeah, I'm going to go with Menlo as well. They've looked impressive in their first 2 games, and it looks like Jake Bianchi is a pretty good quarterback, replacing Sergio Beltran.
There you go. Lefty, who you got?
Yeah, I'm going to go with Menlo also. This game might be a high-scoring game, just the opposite of the Fremont-Encinal game.
Right. Next one on the list, and this was probably the toughest one for me to pick this week, is Menlo-Atherton at 2-0. Traveling out to Loomis to play Del Oro 4-0. I mean, both teams, you look at the Cal Preps rankings, are right in the same neighborhood. MA is 77 in the Cal Preps rankings, and Del Oro is 71. Menlo-Atherton is ranked 4th by us, the Bay Area News Group. They've had a week off to prepare for this game. I think they're going to show something. I think they're out to prove something this season. I'm going to take the Bears to beat Del Oro, a team that beat Clayton Valley a couple weeks ago. Joseph, are you with me?
This is a tough one. Oh man. I'll go with MA. I feel like Jurion Dickey is going to make some ridiculous plays down the stretch, and that's going to be the difference.
Lefty?
Yeah, I'm going to go with MA. I think it's going to depend on how some of the other MA receivers do, because I think Del Oro is going to really focus on Jurion Dickey. And if the other receivers come through, I think MA wins. But I'm going to pick MA.
So we're all going MA over Del Oro. Game 11 on the list. Oakdale at 2-1. Traveling to Miramonte 3-0, a team that Joseph saw last week. Joseph, what can you tell us about Miramonte?
They actually ran the ball very, very, very well against Skyline. I went out there expecting to see the Luke Duncan show, 450 yards, Al Davis style, chuck it deep attack, but they were very controlled. You could tell that Jack Schramm, he might have a great quarterback, but he's going to coach his team in a way that's going to win that particular ball game. And it's hard to pick.
Oakdale's a 2-1 coming off a 54-0 win over Balboa. Was that in the Honor Bowl? I think that was in the Honor Bowl.
Is that an Honor Bowl? Balboa of San Francisco?
Maybe it wasn't. Did Oakdale play in the Honor Bowl?
I'm not sure.
That is a good question. But anyhow, I'm taking Oakdale to win this game. I just think they're a little bit higher ranked. I mean, looking at CalPreps' rankings, Oakdale's at 142 and Miramonte's at 309. Lefty, who you got?
I'm going to go with Miramonte. I changed my mind several times on this one. This was the toughest one for me to pick.
Okay.
But I'm going to go with the home field advantage again.
Yeah, I'm going to go with Miramonte as well. I think we're going to see a Luke Duncan 400-yard game.
Oh, there you go. Well, I may be the loser in that game because I'm taking Oakdale. We have another 5 games here on the list. Let's do them real quickly. Turlock at Clayton Valley Charter. Clayton Valley welcomed Will Stallings to the field last week, and they rolled through Canyon Springs of North Las Vegas as expected. I think they'll win comfortably here at home to even their record at 2-2 against Turlock. I'm taking Clayton. Joseph, who you got?
Yeah, I think Clayton Valley blows them out. Looking at Turlock's last few games, they've given up around 50 points in every single one of their last 3 games, and they gave up only 14 to Rockland early in the year. Makes very little sense considering their form the last few weeks.
Lefty, who you got?
No, I'm going with Clayton Valley also, but maybe Turlock's had a couple injuries too.
That is true.
Possibly. De La Salle at Cathedral. We talked about this earlier in the show. De La coming in at 2-1. Cathedral at 2-2. Cathedral's losses were to really good teams, although they were big-time blowouts. Centennial Corona and Chandler of Arizona. Cathedral won its first game, or won last week. It wasn't his first game. It was his second game. They beat Helix of La Mesa 14-13 last week. And as we noted, De La Salle routed St. Francis. I'm taking the Spartans, even though they're making the long trip. I'm taking De La Salle to go to 3-1. Joseph, you said De La Salle too, I think, earlier?
De La Salle. Going with them. I think they're going to win.
Lefty?
Yep, make it unanimous. I think the Spartans win.
All right. The last Friday night game on our list, Folsom, 2-1, with its only loss to Serra, 17-12, traveling to Pittsburgh, 3-0. Folsom beat Pittsburgh last year, 38-17, but it was 21-17 at halftime. And it should be noted that that was Folsom's 3rd game of the season, and it was Pittsburgh's 1st game of the season last year. Pittsburgh was supposed to play Serra the previous week, but that game was called because of the air quality. I think there's something special going on at Pittsburgh, given their win against Liberty of Henderson, Nevada, their impressive win last week against a California team that has been one of the surprises of the first month here. I'm taking Pittsburgh to win at home to go to 4-0. Joseph, who you got?
I think Pittsburgh wins. I think it's going to be a very low-scoring game, though, like 17-14.
Ooh, okay. Yeah. I was thinking high-scoring, but okay. I think it's going to be something like 35-31.
So if it's 17-14, but Folsom wins, do I get half a win?
No, we'll give you the full win. Oh no, you won't get any win at Folsom.
Yeah.
Lefty.
I'm going to go with Pittsburgh as well, and I'm not predicting if it's going to be a high-scoring or a low-scoring game. I think Rashada maybe has matured a little bit this year, though, and That's a big difference.
You think it's going to be a good game?
Oh, I think it's going to be a very good game, and I think Pitt's going to come out on top.
2 games left. Saturday afternoon, Riordan at 2-0, traveling to Sacred Heart Prep. 2-1. Riordan's ranked 14th by us. Sacred Heart Prep is 23rd. King Nasani Wilhite had a huge game for Riordan last week. He's the guard who led Riordan to the CCS Open Division Basketball Championship. Just a stud basketball player, but he's playing football now, and he's racking up big yards as a running back, I believe. Had like 172 or something like that against Tamalpais last week. They are going up against Sacred Heart Prep, which is obviously a very solid program. I went and did a little homework on this. Adir Ravapati in his 4 years at Menlo-Atherton. Remember, he had the great run from 2015 to 18 at MA. Was 4-0 against Sacred Heart Prep. So I am taking Riordan to win this one on the road to go 3-0 heading into its WCAL opener next week. Joseph, who you got?
Yeah, I've got Riordan too, but I flip-flopped on this one. I was like, maybe I'll take Sacred Heart Prep, and maybe I'll take Riordan. I'm going to go with Riordan, though.
Lefty?
Yeah, I was doing the same thing, Joseph. I was flip-flopping. I couldn't decide, but I'm going to go with Riordan.
3 for Riordan. Wow. All right. Last one. James Logan, 2-1, traveling to Marin Catholic, 3-0. You were really high on James Logan going into the season, Lefty. Then they laid an egg in the opener against California, right? Which is obviously been a very good team.
Yeah, no, Cal is good.
And then they've come back with 2 wins, including one impressive one over Los Lomas, and then they beat Monte Vista. They're going to be going to Marin Catholic. I just think playing at Marin Catholic on a Saturday afternoon, Marin is really strong at home in those Saturday games. I'm taking Marin Catholic to win this one to go to 4-0. Joseph, what you got?
Yeah, I've got Marin Catholic. They've scored, I think it's 45 points at least in every single one of their games. Granted, I don't know, maybe the quality of their opponent is not elite, but still they've got an offense. And like you said, they're playing on a afternoon on Saturday. I think that's going to be the difference.
Lefty.
Oh yeah, I'm going with Marin Catholic also. I mean, the game is up there, and I mean that's a first-rate program. I mean, Logan's getting there, and I'm sure they'll be pretty good down the road. But right now, Marin Catholic is just too good.
There you go, guys. Great show today. Anything else to add before we wrap up? Besides,
I really hope that some of my picks that they hit, because I need to make up some ground in the standings.
Yep, Joseph now trails Lefty by 6 games in the standings. I'm in second, a game behind Lefty. Although we've gone a little different here, Lefty, in this week's picks. So there could be some separation. You could have an even larger lead next week. Be sure to get a digital subscription at mercurynews.com, eastbaytimes.com. That helps us keep going, right?
Yep.
The more readers we have, the more subscribers we have, the more coverage you get. So anyhow,
you might be surprised by those volleyball rankings. I'll bet that'll get some readership.
I hope so. I hope so
too.
Fingers crossed. That's a wrap on this end, unless you guys have one parting shot. Lefty, any parting shots?
No, not really. I mean, no, I don't. None that I can think of right now.
All good. All right, everybody. Have a great week. Enjoy the games, and we'll be back next week. Look for our coverage all week long. mercurynews.com, eastbaytimes.com.